Hello and welcome. My name is Jodi Scholes. I am your instructor for the MBLEx review course. Welcome! You made it! You're here with live class. Woohoo! Today is a very cool day. We're doing pathology. We're doing pathology of the musculoskeletal system, of the digestive system, and of the respiratory system, which may sound like a lot, but I will assure you we have a renowned expert who's going to be teaching today. And our class format's going to be a little different. Normally we do 3 parts of class. However, today we're doing 2 parts of class. One is a test taking strategy, and it's directly related to the questions that we are going to see today. Because the way we're tackling pathology is we are dissecting 20 or more questions. Whatever our time will allow for, we're getting in there and getting questions that, upon my review, are not only pathology, but they're also client assessment. So, a big chunk of questions today, and this is going to be led by Ruth Werner, who I will introduce to you in just a moment. So 2 parts of class today. First part is a test taking strategy. The second part is our learning, and we're going to be dissecting lots of questions. So let's start with a test taking strategy. Did you know that test questions on the MBLEx are written with distractors? So there is a stem to the question. The actual question itself is called a stem. And you and I have dissected questions, picking out keywords in that stem. But then either your 3 or 4 answers are written with something called distractors. And that is why we need to understand the difference between a good answer and the best answer. Because there's going to potentially be 3 good answers that you're looking at, 3 answers that might be appropriate for massage treatment. But what you're going to see today and what you'll remember for your MBLEx is that you're looking for the best answer. So this is intentional. It kind of stinks, but it is intentional that these questions are written with some distractions. And I see Ruth kind of shaking her head. Do you want to comment on the benefit or downsides of distractors?
Sure. Um, as someone who has written thousands of multiple choice questions, I will tell you that the strategy of the writer, and I really encourage you to think about trying to maybe write some of your own. The strategy of the writer is we come up with a stem and we come up with the correct answer, and then we need to fill in what are some things that are plausible, but just have a little bit of something that's not quite right. Okay. And I don't think it's a bad thing because what it requires is that you, the test taker, be paying attention to all of the clues and be using critical thinking to figure out why this answer is better than that answer. And in the questions I've chosen to share with you today, we'll have lots of practice with that.
Yes, we will. And when Ruth was talking, what I thought about was kind of a puzzle piece. And you know how you get that puzzle piece that kind of fits, but you can tell it's just not the best fit? That is exactly what we're looking for in these questions. And you can see as we go through these questions, oh, now I see what you're talking about. And I hear that all the time in our tutoring sessions. Oh, now I see what you're talking about. And because Ruth mentioned critical thinking, and I liken that to a detective, where you're pulling out these key pieces of the question and applying the answers and seeing which is truly the best answer. Now, as we transition to our questions, I'm going to give Ruth a much larger introduction. And I want to mention that as I went through these questions and prepared the slides today, I had some questions as to what was the best answer.
Yeah, I didn't give Jodi a key.
Yeah. Now I had to go answer like 25 questions. And I'm like, ooh, and these are hard, you know? And these questions have come from Ruth's book, which is A Massage Therapist's Guide to Pathology. She has a beautiful picture of it there. It is available through Books of Discovery. It's also available on Amazon if you're looking for a used copy. The copy that is most recent is the seventh edition of the book. So 7 times Ruth has been through this book, updating it with today's conditions. So let's go ahead and we'll do a transition into our learning for today. All right, here is your pathology review for
I
the.
just want to point out this is not a picture of a pathology. This looks like an aerial shot of a river somewhere.
I know, but I loved it because of the colors with your logo
Okay,
and
fair
a
enough.
nod to Portland and a nod to the body.
Very good.
Yeah. So, but this is a pathology review for the MBLEx featuring Ruth Werner. I'm going to do Ruth's introduction, and then Ruth is going to take over from here. I'm going to be pushing the buttons. So, I've mentioned our agenda for today, and that is test taking strategy. What are the distractors? Dissecting questions on pathology with Ruth Werner, and then we will have a time after the recording to do our Q&A. So, who is Ruth? Ruth is a highly influential figure in the field of massage therapy. Uh, she is known for her textbook, yes, A Massage Therapist's Guide to Pathology, but she is also known for so much more. She has been around the massage therapy industry, and I will say 30 plus years, which, and
Yeah, 36, 37, something like that. Yeah.
36, 37. Oh my goodness, that's just impossible. But one of Ruth's really claim to fame is this evidence-informed critical thinking and just a comprehensive look at the field of massage therapy. And so we're doing this through the lens of the MBLEx today. But not only is Ruth been around for many years in the field practicing, being a continuing ed instructor, uh, she has continuing ed online, which I highly recommend after you pass your MBLEx. But also, Ruth hosts a podcast called I Have a Client Who. And that is with ABMP, and you can find it on all the places you listen to podcasts, whether it's Apple or Spotify. Uh, but very fun conversations about pathology. So, and there's lots of episodes you can go and listen to when it comes to client care. We are going to start. We have three systems of the body today: the musculoskeletal system, the respiratory system, and the digestive system. Uh, we are going to go through a series of questions in each category first, and then we're going to do wild card, where they're coming from every category. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. All right, let's go to we're going to go to speaker view. There we go. And here we go. So again, the first few questions, you'll be given the category, but then we're going wild card. And
So we'd like to hear from all of you, whether you can see the whole slide or if you have to move the window with all of our pictures around to
yes,
do
so
that, or
put
just
that in
make
the,
sure that you can see all the things. And I have to confess, some of these slides have a boatload of words on them because you have to tell a little story.
oh, good. Everybody says they can see. All right, let me do the, all right, that's great. Okay, everybody says I can see, I can see, I can see. All right, we can proceed. The floor
All
is
right, very
yours,
good.
Miss Ruth.
All right, thanks very much. I would like you please to not look at the ABCDE yet, if it's not too late. And just look at the stem. Your client has periodic, which means from time to time, um, acute and painful spasms of the paraspinals, which I'm sure you remember are the muscles that run up on either side of the spine. Your best strategy is to, now, before you look at these distractors, I'd like you to form in your head what would you do if your client comes in and, if you've worked in a student clinic or you're working with your friends or, in whatever circumstances you get your hands on people, you probably have had this happen. I'm getting a massage today, where I will be talking about periodic, acute, and painful spasms of the paraspinals. And so think for a minute about what you would do. Have a picture in your head about your best strategy, And then now let's look at your options. So, option A, avoid the affected muscles, but work with their antagonists, which of course means the muscles that do the opposite thing. I'm wondering if that was anybody's first choice. B, work to reduce pain and unnecessary tightness in the affected muscles. C, reschedule the session for after the spasmodic episodes have passed. In other words, don't work with them while they are still having these periodical spot spasms. Or D, encourage him to take an analgesic before and after his session. In other words, tell your client to take a Tylenol or something before their session and after their session. Okay, now some of these are really, really terrible choices. How many people think that D is a really good idea? Jodi, I'm going to ask you to kind of track the chat for me because I'm working between two screens. Yeah, no, no. Let me just say, telling your client to take drugs, bad idea, never the best option. Okay, good. Is there anyone who believes that this is going to be important to reschedule the session for after this person is no longer having spasms? I mean, we do massage. One of the things we do is help with muscle pain. And so there's really no safety reason that we would need to reschedule the session for after these episodes have passed. Um, that leaves us with A and B. Let's consider B, because since we're working our way up. Work to reduce pain and unnecessary tightness in the affected muscles. That seems like a decent option. Let's hold on to that. But now let's look at A. Should we avoid the affected muscles, but work with their antagonists? Now, that is a good option sometimes. And a good example of this would be if someone's having something like a Charlie horse, right? And their calf is really, really tight and painful. And you don't go in and do a deep petrissage on a cramping muscle like that. But what you can do is maybe help them exercise the opposite muscles, the antagonists. So I'm hoping everybody knows what a Charlie horse is, right? Where you get a gripping contraction. Usually we associate these with the calf. Okay, good. Right? And so that's a situation where we wouldn't go in and try to work directly on the muscle, but we might think about their antagonists. But is that the case with spinal spasms or spinal contractions? Not really. And my guess is when you were in massage school, if you had clients who had back pain that was muscular, you were instructed and taught how to reduce pain and unnecessary tightness in the affected muscles. So, um, I am hoping that that's clear. Jodi, is there anything else we should say about that? So the correct answer to this question is B.
All right, best answer. Boom.
Okay. Yay. B.
Next
Next, your
question.
client has a stiff neck. That is a residual consequence. That means it's, something that stays on for a long time of a car accident from several months ago. What is your best strategy? Don't look at the answers yet. Picture this client on your table. Their neck is stiff and painful. They had a car accident. The car accident was several months ago. What is the best thing you can do? Let's go through these distractors. Work deeply and specifically to release all unnecessary tension. Okay. Hold on to that. Refuse to work until you have a doctor's clearance. I will tell you right off the bat that anytime you see a doctor's note, a doctor's permission, a doctor's clearance, that you can be really sure that.
Oh my goodness, isn't this good stuff? Would you like more? Then you have the option now to go ahead and buy the class that's in the shop. Link is in the description. Or you can become a member and you'll have access to this video, the full video with Ruth Werner dissecting questions with you, plus all the other live recorded classes. So sorry to cut this short, but I know you got a lot out of it. And I invite you to go ahead and buy the class. You'll have it forever. Yeah. Or even better, if you've been enjoying this content and you're getting a lot out of the teaching, consider becoming a member. We will guide you on through all the steps necessary to fully prepare to pass your MBLEx. All right. My name is Jodi Skulls. I'm signing off for right now. Hope to see you soon in the MBLEx community in the Patreon app. Take care.